Hey, Gabriel Lake,
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
where are we today?
We are in our apartments. Is
Oh,
COVID still a
yeah.
thing?
COVID is always going to be a thing, Blake.
Sure. Well, Russia found a vaccine, so everything's fine.
It's the kind of vaccine that is like it kills you or you get it while the
Pretty
shoot.
sure. I'm pretty sure there are going to be some sort of side effects. I don't know if it's communism or, just being murdered by your government. Something
Probably.
bad always comes from Russia.
Yeah. Something very patriotic. Yeah. Okay, so what did we watch today?
We watched a French movie from the 80s. Thank you.
Mhm.
Just over 2 hours, just under 2 hours. Sorry, we won't get into
It's
time complaints.
just in case the next speak is even longer than this.
It is the French movie by Jean-Jacques Beineix called Diva. From how do you say it?
Diva.
No, the name of the director.
I will say Jean-Jacques Beineix, but it's like I'm not French. I don't know what you asked me. How would you say it? Brom. I would say it Brom. Thank you.
I hadn't heard of this director before, and I hadn't heard of this movie before. So before, who has to summarize it? One of us.
Yeah, but I had to say why I pick it. You have to
I
summarize
wanna
it.
hear
Yeah.
why.
So basically, the reason why I pick it is because the other day I was having coffee with a friend, and I asked him, and we're talking about the podcast, and I asked him about what is his favorite movie. So when put on the spotlight after talking about like other famous movies that we both watched, he actually picked this one, and he described it as a transition from a short period of realism in French cinema into a bit more of a dreamlike, imaginative perspective. A bit more metaphorical. And I thought that was interesting. And also, it was supposed to be a thriller. So just connecting with Le Boucher, that it was a realistic French movie from what was the year? Remember, 70 something
81.
or 81 from Le Boucher.
I don't know
70.
what year
No,
that movie was.
Le Boucher, it was from
I thought you were asking
1970.
about
Yeah.
Diva. Got it.
No, Diva is 81. So we're like just trying to compare how cinema like just changed in those 10 years, French cinema. And I don't think that this movie is representative of all French cinema from 1981 and ahead of it,
Yeah.
and onwards. But I won't say my opinion yet, but I at least wanted to do this exercise.
All right. Fair enough.
But yeah,
No,
what is it about?
Summarize what it's about, but I want just a yes or no. Do you feel like your friend, whoever this man is, do you feel like his description was accurate?
I thought I actually asked him after watching. I thought he's like, I watched it, and he told me that yeah, it had been a really long time since I watched it for the last time. So I think that his depiction of it may be accurate. I won't give my opinion yet, but I think that what he told me about the movie was not a lie. He didn't oversell it or anything. And there is something that we can talk later, and I will connect with other French movies that we watch.
All right. So to summarize, the protagonist is a young male man named Jules, and he is absolutely in love with opera, and specifically an American opera singer who's African American. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
France that made that choice. The filmmakers made that choice. So Jules is in love with this opera singer. I think her name was Cynthia. Yes, Cynthia Hawkins.
Yes, Hawkins, yeah.
And she refuses to let herself be recorded, but he sneaks in to her, not sneaks in, he has a ticket. He sneaks in the recording equipment and makes a bootleg recording of her for his own pleasure. He's not a bad guy. Coincidentally, a prostitute who is being hunted by a mobster has recorded some sort of confession exposing the mob boss, and she's being hunted to be killed, and she drops the recording into the basket of the moped of Jules. And so there's two groups hunting Jules. This is a very complex plot. So it's so there's a couple Taiwanese kind of businessmen that hear about this bootleg recording, and they're after him trying to get it so that they can blackmail her into signing a record deal with them, since she's never been reported. And then there are the mafioso's henchmen are also hunting him to try and get the recording. And then there's the police, who think that Jules is kind of involved in whatever, nefarious business is happening. So all of these people are hunting him, and then he's just kind of trying to escape them. He kind of falls in love with Cynthia, but their relationship is kind of undefined, although there's definitely a romantic connotation. And
they spend a night together.
They do, but there's no overt sex. I don't even think you ever see them kiss. Am I wrong?
I don't remember them. They get like close to each other, but I don't think that there is like a kiss, like a human contact.
And she gives him a bath at some point, which felt very like, okay. So, and then that's the basic plot. And then
the basic.
I would say it's a love letter to opera and thrillers, like thriller films. I don't know. This film defies definition. You can't just like put it in a box. It was
okay. Yeah, I know that there's like a lot of stuff going on in there, but I had to ask you, like, point blank, this question: did you like it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I have my doubts.
Podcast.
Exactly. That's it. We're done. We don't have anything else to say. You like it. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. That's fine.
Did you?
I like it. There are degrees of like. This is not a like.
We'll
I had a feeling that there is a lot of stuff going on. Is that you summarized like part of it, but is that did you talk about like the Asian girl, the Asian kleptomaniac girl?
No, and I even thought about how do I even introduce these characters that I didn't even understand. He meets a young Vietnamese girl in a record store, and it's kind of like, I don't know if it's supposed to be cute in 1981, but now it seems like, hey, don't befriend the young Asian girl in the record store and go to her home. I don't know.
And for a second it looks like it's going to be the love interest, but at the same time it's also the love interest maybe of this guy that is like probably in his 40s. It's a bit like disturbing about like what is going on. Is that this girl that actually just takes pictures of herself naked on this giant apartment? Is that there is like a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So let me ask you this: you said that you liked it, no? So Overall, yeah, we're not going to be like going into a score yet. But my question is that do you feel any kind of reminiscence to Celine Dion Goes on a Boat?
Not. They are in different universes. This was coherent and had a plot and was exciting and entertaining.
Sure. What I felt is that I felt a bit of the imaginative side that the Celine Dion Goes Boating. It was way more absurd than this, but there is also like some pieces that is okay. You have like imaginative stuff that at the end it connects into some kind of a story. So it made me think a bit more about Bad Blood, Maba Sanke, the Leo Carras one.
I'm already forgetting that movie. The movie where the guy hung from the airplane. Yes.
Yep, exactly that. Yeah, it's Leo Carras. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember that there were like many scenes on the movie that they were like, okay, I guess, is that this is beautiful, that this is happening in front of me, but I don't know if it's really that important or not, And I had a feeling that in this movie there are like many scenes that they are like sacrificing the story, or well, more than sacrificing the story is like, this is not really that deep. It's only like just beautifully pleasing. Like for example, when the postman goes in the date with the opera singer, and they are sitting on these chairs outside, while the opera singer is with the umbrella, and the guys are just changing like the seats, changing chairs until he gets like just next to her. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it was cute, but what is the point of this? And I had the same feeling with the couple that they interact with, like the Vietnamese girl, and the other is okay, they live in a nice apartment that is huge, and it has like very beautiful shots while the girl is like just walking around. or the guys are just trying to do this puzzle in this gigantic empty warehouse. But is this really needed? Is this giving me any kind of background for the characters?
Yeah, and I felt like the film would be going 80 miles per hour, and then it just immediately stops down to 5. Like, he'll be riding his moped through the metro in Paris, and then all of a sudden he's sitting quietly next to Cynthia while she just prepares for her recital. It's just, it was all over the place, and part of me wonders if in 1981 this is like John Wick, right? Like, John Wick... to today's standards, it's like an exciting action film, right? Like, you watch Keanu Reeves do all these cool martial arts, and there's a puppy that dies, and there's a little bit of a story.
Spoilers,
man. That happens in like the first 3 minutes of the movie, so of movie 1, and we're into movie 3. But will John Wick age well? Absolutely not. Did this film age well? I feel like there's something to it. I just think. But again, we go back to a product of it's timely, not timeless. I think that may be it.
But there is something else. I had the feeling that here there is an artistic effort, and that's the reason what I was bringing. The reason what I was bringing about Celine Dion goes on about. I think that there was an artistic effort. It failed because nothing else sustained it. It's a bit more like, okay, you can have like the most beautiful picture in the world, but if the story makes no sense. If there is nothing that sustains that, is that that's worthless. And your image was not, and that image was not like the most beautiful in the world to begin with in Celine Dion.
Yeah. So the plot overall, I didn't expect too much of it. I knew it was a thriller, and the only complaint I had was Gordish and Alba, which is the young Vietnamese girl, and the older man who apparently was like omniscient. He knew everything and planned everybody's, but I never understood exactly how they connected with Jules and the ways that. So I can't even explain this, but he just knew everything. Like, he knew the mafioso, who's also a cop, was going to plant a bomb on his car. So he let the Taiwanese people get in the car, knowing the bomb would explode. And he had hidden a car exactly the same type, just over there. Like, that part, Gordish and Alba, I was like, okay, this is too much for me.
What I feel is that basically they're two movies stick together, because you say that this like a love letter to opera. I don't really see it. I think that the opera, it doesn't have to do anything with the prostitution ring, with the thriller part, because I feel like it's really diminishing at the end when they are in the opera house, spoilers by the way, and he presents the tape to her, and she said, oh, I never heard myself singing, and she gets moved by just hearing herself. And it was like, look, you're like basically just diminishing this girl. It's just basically saying that is like, well, she never gave herself a try, and she's so amazing that now she's in love with herself. But it's like, I don't know.
I was looking so deep for meanings behind, look at the power of recordings, whether it's the recording of a beautiful opera singer or the recording of a prostitute. Like, I was like, there's something he's trying to say, and I just couldn't find it. I was like, what do these recordings and our desperation for them say about humanity? Nothing. We're just going to watch him ride a moped through the metro.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, that scene through the metro, that was incredible.
Yeah,
like,
that scene for being made in 1981, when you cannot get away with the special effects, with high-end special effects, that was amazing. I mean, it's true that probably was an stunt actor because all the time he's wearing the helmet, but that's still like pretty impressive.
Yep.
What it is. And it also reminds me about like just the Paris subway system. Dear listeners, is probably one of the dirtiest subway systems in the world.
Compared to BART, it's like
compared to BART, no, believe me. I mean, I had to say that it's like, if that point was dirty, if it looked like more or less dirty on that movie, no one cleaned it since then. So just go in 2020, like 40 years later, because the last time that I was in Paris, I was like, I'm not going to be like touching anything. And it's true, in BART, I don't take anything. You were in Paris? 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah, 10 years ago, exactly. Yeah.
I just had such a different experience. I respect your experience, but yes.
Okay. I will give you more info.
I had ridden Russia's metros for so long that I got to Paris and I was like,
so
beautiful.
I can tell you that the Madrid one is amazing. And the Tokyo one is amazing. The Berlin one is amazing. The New York one is what it is. It's what it is.
Amazing. It's not amazing.
It's like, when you see like the rats running left and right, it's what it is. It's a charming place. It's an ecosystem by itself. But in any case, yeah, that scene is incredible. There are other scenes, but the funny thing is that scene is incredible in a thriller. The scene when they go on the date, and they are like getting close to each other, I think that those are properly shot. The scenes in the opera, the scenes on the opera, I think that they're good, but they feel like two different movies,
Yeah, what you said about it being two movies put together, there are two very distinct tones that they go back and forth, and it's the thriller and it's the love story between the French postman and the famous opera singer, and it's so not to jump to scoring, but as I was watching it, I thought constantly, I am not going to remember a single thing about this movie in 3 months. Not one single thing. It's enjoyable but forgettable to me.
Let me just think about it. Diva, would I remember anything?
No, you won't. We'll have to look it up. Did we watch that movie? Let's check the spreadsheet. Yeah, we watched it. I have no idea.
That's fair. But do you think, the thing is that if it doesn't succeed as something that is memorable, does it succeed as entertainment? Would you recommend this? Or would you at least just look back at these 2 hours when you remember that, oh yeah, we watched that? Would you just look back into, that was terrible? Or would you okay, they were like 2 entertaining hours?
I feel like it's I don't know, do you like peanut butter?
Not too much.
Okay, so I, as an American, love peanut butter.
Of course.
And I like peanut butter sandwiches. Like sometimes it's like, hey, what do you want to eat? A good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I enjoy that peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it makes me feel full, and then I have another meal. I don't ever remember a year later my peanut butter sandwich. Does that mean I regret eating a peanut butter sandwich? No.
Okay. No, that's a good analogy, but that actually means that it's just functional entertainment.
That's exactly it. It's functional entertainment. I would not recommend this to anybody. I don't think I'll remember it in 3 months, but I enjoyed it, and I was pleasantly surprised because while it may have its issues, it was interesting, the attempt that they tried. It's very different than anything I've seen out of France. So,
you think that it's very different?
I can't think of anybody that tried to mash up 2 disparate movies like that.
We'll have to review it, but in any case, I feel like the tone, as I told you, is that the kind of imaginative aspect about like a bit more like dreamlike, about like these things cannot happen in real life, made me think about Celine Dion and that now if actually
for listeners, the actual movie is what Celine and Jules.
Celine goes boating, goes on a boat, that's what I was going to say. Is like if you're a listener and you just connected right now and you say like, why are they connecting with Celine Dion with the French Canadian singer? But from the other side is like the kind of artistic direction, the cinematography, just made me think about like Leo Carax. It made me think that these shots just stand alone. They're good. They're really good. Artistically, this is a good movie. But if I would recommend it to anyone, I don't think so. I don't think that this is my first pick. Yeah, but not because I don't think that it was good or because I didn't like it. It's because, as you said, it's like I don't think that if someone asked me about a French movie, Diva is ever going to be popping up. I think that this is one movie that you may love if you watch it in a specific time of your life.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I understand why this person like brought it up to me, like this friend that is okay, I respect it. This was an interesting movie to watch, is what I told him. Is like I understand it, and I also understand that probably you watched this like many years ago and the sensibility was slightly different. It's the same way as when my uncle-in-law, he recommended us to watch Celine Dion Goes Boating and Blow Up. That these movies, if we actually had watched it maybe closer to the date that they were released, there was a different movement in cinema, and we could appreciate it. It's timely, like The Lost Boys, for example.
It was fun. So the mafiosos henchmen, there were 2 of them. They called them the Cure and the West Indian, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the names. Yeah, but yeah, they had many names.
So the Cure was Dominique Pinon.
Yep, the one from
which was
Delicatessen.
super fun to see him as like a young. I don't know how young he was, but he's so recognizable from Amelie and
Who was he in Amelie?
He was the one that was always in the cafe, I think, hitting on.
Oh,
her.
that's right. Yeah, he was on Delicatessen and the City of the Lost Children, and even in Alien 4.
And this is like 15, 20 years, no, 30 years before.
No.
Delicatessen was 91.
It's 90s.
Was 81. Yeah. So it was fun to see him. But again, exactly like Bad Blood, I don't remember that plot in the slightest. Nothing. And we watched it, 2 months ago?
A bit more, because I think that we were not recording the podcast back then.
We didn't record about Bad Blood? Damn it, that would have made us seem so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to just go back. We actually recorded Tokyo. One of the reasons for talking about Tokyo is because we had just watched Bad Blood.
Oh, and Tokyo was one of our first.
Yeah, it was like just 2 movies before that when we started recording. So, yeah, dear listeners, you will never know what we thought about Bad Blood because we don't even remember what we thought about Bad Blood.
So at least we can also understand we would not remember Bad Blood and we would not recommend Bad Blood.
But Bad Blood, the problem that I had with Bad Blood is I think that the overall story didn't make too much sense either. And in this one, it makes sense. The only problem is that there is like too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
For a movie that lasts 2 hours and 10, I feel like you could have trimmed this by half, because that your story could have been simplified significantly more.
So outside of just pure entertainment value, were there any moments where you reacted emotionally, like it made you feel things?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, it made me feel, I mean, I wouldn't say bored, but a bit more uninterested about like, I don't care. You know, it made me feel, sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it made me feel like a bit more of the thrill on that race, in that chase scene in the metro in Paris. That was the only thing that I felt like, wow, okay, that's cool. That's like pretty well shot in a way that is harder than just like making a space completely empty and just making a woman half naked walk in one of the corners, you know, and just trying to break the symmetry. There's like, yeah, that's great, but I know how cinematography works. I know that this is like by the manual beautiful, or just like making a lighthouse look like a castle. That is like, yeah, that's pretty beautiful, but it's still like a pretty easy beautiful. In the other hand, I think that is like there is talent in that chase scene. There is like just undiluted talent, you know, like undiluted talent for doing that work.
So I never felt any emotion, which was sad because I wanted to. I was very interested in whoever Gordish is and how he was clearly creating art inspired by Alba, and we never saw more except just nudes of her. And I thought, oh, this is an interesting duo. And I also found the chemistry between Jules and Cynthia and the chemistry between them very interesting. And I was hoping to get more out of that. And ultimately it was unfulfilling, and I never really experienced anything emotionally with this film.
Yeah, I feel like it was unrealized. That is, for me, like the kind of love relationship between both of them, between the postman and the opera singer, was completely forced. It was one of these things about, okay, it has to happen because the script tells me that it has to happen. And there is this point that Cynthia tells Jules, hey, I love that you love opera. And he's like, what did Jules say about opera? Because it's pretty minimal, like the kind of stuff that he has shown on the screen about that. The only thing is like he feels moved about the recording that he has, and he's listening to opera.
I would disagree. They had a lot of conversations about specific operas that I enjoyed a lot. Like when they discussed Tosca. Like that's why I say it's a love letter to opera, because they dive deep into these stories and they reference the characters, and that is something you pick up on if you're an opera lover.
Honestly, I felt like everything was a bit more anecdotal than just deep, like how do you say, like deep, profound. Well, deep and profound are the same word, but it's like profound love for it. It almost feels like, okay, I'm going to be like just looking for famous operas, and I'm going to be like just putting, like, I won't say like trivia facts, but it almost felt like the thing that it moved her the most is that he actually went to to Munich in a moped.
On the moped.
On the moped to see her.
concert.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just felt like, look, if you are like just this worldwide famous opera singer, that the actress is an opera singer.
Oh, she was in real life?
Yes, she's in real life. Well, she was, because she may be like just 90 years old now. But the thing is that probably you have like a lot of people that are going to be approaching you, that they say like, I love that you're a singer, I love what you sing, and I love opera in general. Is that probably you would expect that those people that she's going to be like paying attention to, knowing more than, when I think of you, I think of Tosca because it's a very strong female character. Is that okay? Let's just flip the page. Is that when I think about you, is like I think about the Ring of the Nibelungs because there is also a very strong female character. Is that you read me so well, you love opera so much.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I just felt like I've been more like, look, you're giving me like a watered down version of, an opera love letter and a thriller love letter, except the part, the chases. That one is just hands down perfect. That is it. So, I mean, I felt like it was a bit unrealized on every single area, but overall it was like, this was okay. It was entertaining. It's not going to be like something that I would remember.
I wish I had seen it in 1981. I'm guessing I would have been impressed at the time.
Yeah.
And I would have thought, oh, this is a cool movie. But as of today, I did enjoy my time, but didn't. It's not that I didn't like it. I just don't think it's a significant film.
Yeah. No, the same thing for me. It's one of those things that is like, if I were to watch it in a film studies class, I would be like, I can figure it out. I can force myself to write about this. There is like so much stuff that I can throw so imagination, the same thing, I don't know what movie we're talking about that I told you is that, oh, this is the interpretation that I had. And you told me is that there is no way that we have gotten there. It's like I can force myself for getting there, for having like some kind of parallelism between like both of the stories, as you were saying about like both of them have a recording, that it shouldn't have happened, and then it may have like just terrible consequences when it's here. And it's like maybe it's like, I don't know, like how recordings and how the voice of someone can actually just change the course of a relationship or even of our lives.
Someday I'm going to understand what they were trying to say about the two recordings. I don't know.
Honestly, I thought that it was going to end at some point as some kind of, like comedy, like a sunny comedy, about like they're going to be like just swapping the recordings, and it's like the incriminating recording is going to be the opera singing. And what they play at the opera house at the end is like the recording of the girl is like, I'm part of a prostitution ring.
And the mafioso is actually the police chief.
Chan chan chan. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, once again, I think that it's okay. I don't think that it's like a good movie. So should we score this? Because I think that we are like, yes.
Yeah, so who scores it first?
I can give my score. It doesn't matter. My score is a 5.5.
That is exactly my score. This is just a hair above mediocre. That's how I see it.
I love the wording about like, okay, you are mediocre, but a tiny step
just
above it.
Just a little bit better than mediocre.
Yeah. It's like when you get what is it, a D in classes?
Yeah, a D is almost failing, but just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a D plus. It's okay. You are not about to fail, but don't drop your car, man. Don't drop your car. Don't think that you did a good job here. It's not a C. So yeah, I mean, I thought once again, I thought that it was an okay exercise. It's like it's okay. So I had to tell you something now. You actually gave a higher score to Bad Blood.
So I would completely agree with that. I think what Leos Carax was doing was attempting something far, far more difficult than this film did, and I think it succeeded a little bit better. What this film was attempting to do is be a thriller, an entertaining thriller. It's not that difficult.
No.
John Wick 1, 2, and 3.
That's true.
So I would stand by that. I think Bad Blood is a better film.
Yeah, I actually gave up.
I wouldn't recommend Bad Blood, but if I were forced to recommend one between this movie and Bad Blood, I would say Bad Blood.
Yeah, I think that actually is for me it's consistent because I gave a 4 to Bad Blood, and it's like from Bad Blood I only remember like 2 visual scenes. I don't even remember what was going on them. I only remember like the photographs, the specific photographs, and I don't even remember the story at all. Is I could say that on this one is like if someone asked me if I read a summary, I could actually come up with some of the details about this movie. With the other one, even if I were to read a summary right now, I have no idea what was it about. I couldn't actually just build up the rest of the context.
I feel like that's true, but also we watched this film in the last couple days, and
That's
we watched the other one 3 months ago. So
That's
I'm going to put on my calendar, bring this up with you in 3 months. Please describe to me the plot.
Okay, gotcha. Do you have like those alerts? Because you told me like a couple of weeks ago about doing that with another movie.
I don't. No, this is all empty promises.
Okay. I wish that it was not an empty threat. So, anything else that we should say about this movie?
There's no more time should be spent discussing this film.
That's fair enough. So, what are we watching this? Because it's your pick.
Happiness by Todd Solondz. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
How many times did you watch that movie?
I think this will be the second time. I know I watched it in like 2006, 7, and not since then.
Wow, okay. Well, exciting to watch it again and discuss it with you.
All right.
All right. Well, and to whoever is listening out there, don't you have anything better to do with your life? And thank you so much for listening. It was exactly what was asked. Bye.